let's see. We've got player of the season, manager of the season, golden boot, golden glove, biggest flop, best new signing, most improved side, most improved player, biggest underperforming side, and biggest overperforming side.
Sure.
So I think we can start off, just go from top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I have kept my predictions in line with Arsenal winning the league. In saying that, my player of the season is Declan Rice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I think it can happen. The first season in there, it can happen. Like,
if they win the title, yeah,
he's going to be one of the best players in the squad.
Yeah.
You can see when Kante came to Chelsea, we won the league in his first season, and he won the Player of the Year. So
Yeah.
it can happen. It's not like he needs time to settle. I think he knows a lot of the boys well, and he's just gonna settle in very well.
Yeah, well, he said that. Declan Rice has come out and said, like, yeah, everything's like gone great. He's like,
Yeah.
I've just continued off where I left it. You know, so it's not that big of a change to him. At the end of the day, he's still in London, you know, so it's not too far of a commute for him still. And yeah, I think there is a potential, like, for sure. If it is in line with Arsenal in the league, yeah, absolutely, he will be one of probably the best. One of, if not the best player, in terms of what he has to bring.
Yep.
Sure.
Who do you have?
So I know we're talking about we want to talk in line with our predictions, and it still is, I believe. What I want to first say is Arsenal. Stop looking. Arsenal.
Sorry. I can't
Let me
actually,
build that up.
It's too far away. I can't see anyway.
Arsenal, I believe, won't win the Premier League, but as I've been saying and as I keep backing, they will get closer and closer. I think City just set this unrealistic benchmark for the rest of the competition. And in terms of player of the season, yeah, Haaland won it last season.
Yeah.
And young player of the season you were mentioning. I don't think they're going to opt with giving him the award twice over unless he breaks his own record. I don't think he will break his own record. I think he'll still score a lot of goals. He'll score 30 plus easy. But bro, he was scoring each game, like, as soon as, City may have started a little slowish, but he's the one who got him going, you know, in terms of his goal scoring ability. But in saying all of this, I feel like Arsenal, like I said, will start very quick, and dependent on the gap at the end of the season, I think as long as this player is mostly consistent throughout, and shows the level that he can play at, week by week, I believe that Martin Odegaard's going to be player of the season. And you know what? Last season he was top 4, top 5. You know, and he didn't. And towards the end of the season, he choked a bit, as the whole Arsenal squad did. They bottled it. They bottled the league. Let's be honest. They copped a lot for it. And immediately, obviously, the starting 11's going to, and he was a part of that 11 most of the season. So I think he understands now. Captain?
Ooh, I'm not sure, you know.
Captain, I believe,
Is he?
potentially. Anyway, he shows a lot of great leadership qualities regardless. And I think that his ability plus his leadership will lead him to that award, because he will lift that Arsenal squad even further up the points tally anyway.
Yeah.
And it will be, I think this season is going to be very reminiscent of the Liverpool City season where it was like 100 points each, you know.
Okay.
And I just think City will just outperform Arsenal, outperform everyone else like always, but not outperform, just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Organize themselves in a way in which, you know, allows them to win the title, because at the end of the day, you know, they go week by week, and they just got this thing to them, you know, City, and I hate talking to them like they're some mythical creature, but it's true. They're set the benchmark, like I said, and I think Martin Odegaard at Arsenal and his efforts, and he's going to be assisting. He assisted a lot last season, and I think he's going to do the same, but may potentially even score more as well.
Yeah.
I think Rice is going to allow him to press up the pitch a lot more as well.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. It'd be one of the top. I think it was for me in that squad. Picking a player of the season was between Rice, Odegaard, and Saka. I reckon.
Yeah.
But the reason I didn't go with Saka and Odegaard's a good shout. The reason I didn't go with Saka was because he'd have to score a lot more goals and a lot more assists than he did last season. And he has more, for me, he has more of an impact without getting the goals and assists. He brings more to the team other than just the goals and assists. But to win something like that, you got to put numbers in a lot of the time. In saying that, I picked Rice, like he's going to put goals and assists in, but he's a completely different role. As a forward, Saka maybe needs some more numbers to get in the conversation. Yeah,
I agree. I feel like Rice, I think you've got a pretty decent call too, because Rice is, like I was talking about earlier about forward, in footy they call it forward half pressure, but the forward third pressure with Arsenal, Rice is going to be the one who's going to set that foundation, but Odegaard's going to be the one creating it. You know what I mean? Creating all the opportunities in terms of his positioning, in terms of his passing and everything. Like, Odegaard is like, definitely Real has missed out on a real one for sure.
Oh yeah.
No pun intended.
They've got
It's like an Özil. It's like an Özil type situation, but not really. Like obviously Odegaard never started for Real Madrid. But he's been let go by them, and he's got because he's got an abundance of talent, but Real Madrid also do. So it's like obviously, I think Odegaard's obviously he's set on proving that he deserved a spot in that Real team. I think that must have some sort of effect on him not breaking through that team ever. Like he went at 16 years of age. It was supposed to be some wonder kid. Everyone heard of him, but then he ended up going out on loan a few times, and then ultimately at Arsenal. And very honestly, his first season at Arsenal was actually pretty decent, man. It was actually pretty decent. Like I can't really wrong him there. But then last season was just fuck, man. He stepped up so many levels, and that's where I feel like he's going to step up again this season.
Yeah, he was getting De Bruyne comparisons last season. Yeah, it's just going to keep going up.
Yeah, he was playing like a De Bruyne, playing at like a 7 out of 10. Yeah, because let's be honest, Kevin De Bruyne's Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah. Well, next up, I did realize during that whole talk that we don't have a young player of the season prediction here.
Ah, well, that's right.
But you want to come up with one off the top of your head?
Can't even.
I'll give you one.
Go.
Enzo Fernandez.
Oh, for fuck's sake. For me,
23 or under or younger. Enzo's 22, so that's calm.
I know.
Wait, Cleveland?
No. I don't know how Haaland can win a young player of the season, not the player of the season. This is hard. You've caught me off guard here.
Do you want to have a think about it? Well, Haaland's 23 now, so he
might
might
qualify
not.
for it.
It's maybe 23 or younger, so I'm assuming he's going to turn 24 at some point this year. So I don't know if I guess that doesn't qualify.
I'm just gonna go Chelsea, bro. If I'm honest with you, man. I'm not too sure. Honestly, I'm not too sure. I think all the top teams, like they've all got young players and whatnot. There's just too many to pick from, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, all good. You don't have to. You don't have to give one, but I'll just throw Enzo out there.
No, that's good. Easy.
Anyway, manager of the season. What have we got?
Please, everyone, remember what I've mentioned about Odegaard and City and benchmarking, but I think Arteta.
I have the same. I think he deserved it last season. To be honest with you,
if I'm honest with you, man.
It's like that. You can't just. City just overtook them at the end, and then you give it to Pep. Like I think Arteta deserved that. So I think he keeps his upward trend, and obviously I've got him winning the league, so I think he wins it this season.
It took work for what's his name? What's his name?
He who shall not be named.
Yeah, it's getting to that point. Honestly, it's getting to that point. He's got the same haircut. But yeah, look, Pep. I think he did. Look, at the end of the day, they won the league.
Yeah,
they came back from how far behind, and we all saw it coming. Literally, apart from a
handful of Arsenal fans.
Them Arsenal fans who would diluted. What am I saying? Delusional. But I do have some Arsenal mates that were like, nah, City's gonna catch up. They were worried proper.
I was like that all season. Towards the end, just before City came back, like Arsenal like had a hiccup, but then City dropped points as well. And then I thought, oh, you know what? Because that was the point where I thought City could take over. But then they just sort of just held on to it. I'm like, well, they could actually do this.
Yeah, there was a weird spot there, wasn't there? But
Yeah.
it was because Arsenal, City had a game in hand.
Yeah.
Something or other. Or maybe it was the other way around. Arsenal had a game in hand. Yeah, I think Arsenal may have had a game in hand and allowed them to go like 4 points clear or something. And then, yeah, it just seemed like they had a bit of more of a gap than what they had.
Yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, Arteta, we agree on that one.
Yeah.
Next one we'll probably agree on as well, Golden Boot. Yeah. Like, come on.
Next one. Oh, do we really need to?
Probably the same as the rest of you.
Erling, honestly.
Um,
yeah, Erling. I don't see anyone else outscoring him.
I was going to say Richarlison, but all right. Next up, we've got
I reckon I'll score more fucking Premier League goals than that bloke. I'm not even fucking kidding right now. Are you kidding me? No way.
Yes, Erling Haaland, Golden Boot. What more?
He had the
can we say?
mobility of
Like,
fucking Stephen Hawking last year. Fuck, shouldn't have said that. Shit.
all right. There's two options. That's either being made into a reel or getting cut out.
Yeah, it's gonna be one. It's gonna be one or the other.
We're either going full
For the love of God, cut it out. For the love, I need a job in the future, bro. Fuck.
Ooh, okay. Anyways, Golden Glove.
Golden Glove. I'm gonna lead with this one. Golden Glove. I have, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but hear me out. For the love of God, hear me out. Last season, Liverpool had 13 clean sheets. 13 clean sheets. And they played fucking poorly defensively.
Yeah.
Outlaw keeps saying that Alisson had 13 clean sheets. And I feel like I was mentioning, like I mentioned in the episode where, we're talking about, where they're all going to be sitting in the title race. I put Liverpool fourth, but last time they finished in similar position. They were still pretty high up on that tally in terms of clean sheets. But like I said, I think Liverpool is going to be more defensively sound. You know, you got your likes of Newcastle and City who are great defensively, but Edison, at the end of the day, De Gea is the one who won Golden Glove. Like, it was like people are still forgetting that.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's always an outside chance with these awards, and I feel like Alisson potentially could be there. And I think Alisson has just sort of dipped a bit, but he's still a great player. He's still an amazing goalkeeper. But yeah, there were just some mistakes there last season where he could have had even more than 13. So I think Alisson.
Yep. I think Alisson's the best keeper in the league. I haven't put him.
I agree. I
him.
agree.
But I think he is the best keeper in the league. I think the defense might be a bit questionable depending on how Klopp sets it all up, like we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've actually gone for Ramsdale because Arsenal did have one of the better defensive records in the league. And I think with the addition of Timber in that back line will help, as well as Rice in the midfield defensively will help. And with David Raya coming in, providing a bit of competition for him, he might have to step it up a little bit. So I reckon it's his time to shine.
You know, well, I was actually gonna counter that with like, what about Raya? But in saying that, I think Ramsdale definitely shows up when stakes are high. I think he's definitely an underappreciated goalkeeper in a way. I think Saliba gets a lot of the plaudits for what Arsenal does in that back third, but I think Ramsdale, bro, some of the saves he's able to create. Bro, he's a very good keeper for sure. But like you said, he's not the best in the league, but he's up there for sure. For sure.
Yeah,
Top
definitely.
3 keeper.
I could be completely wrong. Raya could come in and take the top spot, and he could win it. But then
He did very well last season, though, man.
Yeah,
He did
so-
very well last season.
I don't know. I'm gonna stick with Ramsdale because I've also got them winning the league as well. So
Yeah,
it sort of
yeah.
all goes in line with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up, biggest flop. Now, I'm gonna let you go first because I think you're gonna have some choice words about mine.
Okay. I think I have a very good feeling of who you're gonna say, and again, delusional. Anyway, I'm joking. I'm
I know,
kidding.
I
I don't
know.
know you. I'm not gonna say,
No,
but
by your reaction there, you have absolutely no clue who I'm gonna say.
fuck. Here we go. So I think biggest flop is going to be Zoboslai. I don't think he's been performing at the highest level for long enough in order to fit into this Liverpool team and sustain the amount of pressure being in a starting 11 in the Premier League where you're rooting to go for the title. I think it's a heavy role being a midfielder in the Premier League. It's so heavy, but I think they'll prove. When I say flop, I mean what he was brought there to do. I think he's going to end up being more of a winger type player, and then Jota's going to end up taking his spot anyway. Salah's going to be performing. Gakpo. So if he's not going to be performing in that midfield region, then he's fucked. Sorry.
Yeah.
He's
Fair enough.
He's not going to have a spot in that team.
He's a talented player. He's a bit of a long shot merchant.
Yeah.
You see the first game against Chelsea, obviously Kepa's he's not the tallest goalkeeper. He's a bit susceptible to long shots, like we've seen. I already 2 goals just popped into my head. A really far out free kick from Trent that he scored against Kepa. Also another one from Henderson from outside the box. I think Szoboszlai is going to be firing from long range all game against Chelsea.
I'm quite impressed the way he said his name there.
Yeah, that's the best I've done so far. Don't ask me to say it again. But we're getting there.
I completely forgot what you said after that. If I'm honest with you, I was like, "Fucking decent, bro."
Just don't ask me to spell it. All right, I might get closer than the Liverpool
You're
kickmakers, but Anyway,
it's a legit Wi-Fi router password, cuz. Anyway,
on to
sorry, Dominic. Anyway, it's his name, right?
Ooh.
Oh my god, did I just say some?
No, I think
waffle?
it is. No, I think it is.
Bro, a lot of what I say is just in my gut. If I'm honest with you, hang on, oh my god,
Dominic. No, you know what? I'm pretty
cut it.
sure that's right. No. I think you're right.
Oh.
Yes. Round of applause for Daniel, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'd like to thank the fans. No. So, Dominic, best of luck.
Yeah.
Now, next category.
No, I need to say mine first.
You haven't said yours.
My biggest
I'm
flop.
just fucking waffling
Ready?
on about this Dominic.
Ready? You were praising him earlier.
Say it.
From Newcastle team.
Say it. Say it.
Sandro Tonali.
I think I have I think I know the foundation for your argument too.
Yeah.
Go, say it.
First off, I've got 2 main reasons. First off, does he want to be there?
Yeah.
Does he want to be? Where's the motivation? I don't think he wants to be
Yep.
there at all. Secondly, the Italian league is a bit slower than the Premier League.
Yes.
Right? I don't know if this lad is cut for the pace of the Premier League.
Okay.
I've seen a few bits in pre-season where he's just getting absolutely flown past, rinsed, absolutely like he's a sitting duck in midfield and people just dribbling past him. But so I have some doubts about this lad.
Okay. All right.
At first I thought great signing, and then I realized, and then I saw all the clips like he doesn't want to be there. There's no motivation. And then I had to think about what midfielder has come from Serie A to the Premier League and absolutely shone.
Gambiaso at Leicester City.
Okay.
and that was a season before they won the league. Actually, they just got saved. So no, he got rinsed too.
No, because Danny Drinkwater and Kante were in that midfield when they won the league. So
you're being mean now. You're being so mean. Hang on, I want to actually look this up now. I want to see. What's his name? Cambiaso.
No, I'm gonna get like. I'm sure there has
Esteban
been.
Cambiaso.
I'm sure there has been players that have come from Serie A to the Prem.
He was at Inter Milan,
Pogba was different type of.
and then he moved to Leicester. Fuck,
Yeah.
he has the knowledge on this side.
Pogba came from Serie A to the Prem, and he was a hit or miss.
Arguable.
But it was a different type of player. You know, what I mean?
Arguable that I didn't.
Yeah.
Look, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He played a different role at United.
Anyways, yeah, I just think he's not going to want to be there. He's probably going to pull a Lukaku interview and say, "I want to go back. I don't like it here." No, I'm sure he's not that bad, but like, still, I don't think he wants to be there, and I think
He's
it's gonna be a shock.
Though,
He could, be coached into it, but it's gonna be a shock to the system moving from Italy to England.
He's a young boy though. Like he's still like getting there, and I think that's might have been more of his initial reaction to the transfer. Once he sees that where he's at, and where they're aiming, like he's a he wants to be obviously. Inherently so, coming from Milan, obviously, AC, you know that you want to be competing for titles, and it's the same with Newcastle now. That's what they're aiming to do now.
Yep.
And I don't think he can really fault him in that regard. I don't think he's downgraded as such. I think Newcastle can, like you said, he can be coached into. If he can adapt to the Premier League, he's going to be a very dangerous player. A very dangerous player.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think it'll happen, especially not in the first season. But
it's not a bad call though. It's actually it's not a bad call at all. Yeah.
Anyways, next up, best new signing.
I went with Declan Rice.
Okay, now I feel dumb.
Why?
Looks up put him player of the season. I haven't put Declan Rice as the best new signing.
No, but you want to do it. You want to make it different though, don't you?
Okay.
Like,
yes.
You're the same
No.
player.
Declan Rice will be the best new signing, but I have another name that I will say to
that isn't Declan Rice.
Isn't Declan Rice?
Yeah.
That's the obvious one that I probably should have put, but oh well.
No.
I've got another name. All right, just to have a bit of variety, not be boring. You know what I mean? Nicholas Jackson.
Ah, yes. That's a decent shout.
Kind of a little bit under the radar, not a big money signing, but up front for Chelsea. One condition. Don't take the number 9.
Oh my god, for the love of God, don't do it. You don't need another Torres moment at Old Trafford. You really don't need that.
Oh my god. Aubameyang's gone. The number 9 is free. Don't do it for the love of God.
No, they will. I actually don't think they'll touch it. I don't think they will.
I hope they don't.
They can't. Why? Why would you? It's a fucking curse.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
it's very superstitious.
What players would take... And Nkunku's not going to take it. He's not a number 9 type of player to take that. Hopefully Nicholas Jackson doesn't take it. Fingers are crossed. The only other person who might take it is Armando Broja, he did his ACL and he's going to come back from that injury.
Let him have that.
A bit into this season, he'll come back maybe halfway through, but he can take it if he wants. But this new lad, please don't take it. Please don't. Please, for the love of God. But he looks good. His one-touch passing, his link-up play, hold-up play, all of that. So far in preseason, I know it's just preseason, but that's all we can base on.
Is he a strong player, like physically?
He's strong, yeah, big boy.
Yeah.
Drogba vibes.
Yeah,
don't regret me.
Yeah.
If he takes the number 9, I'm gonna regret all this. But yeah, he reminds me of that type of player.
Yeah.
And I do have honourable mention for James Trafford at Burnley in goal.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But let's see if he gets game time.
We'll see.
And if he does, potentially, who knows, man?
Yep.
But it's hard for keepers to win any awards, really.
Yeah, true.
Let's be honest.
Well, who do you... Oh, you got Declan Rice, don't you?
Yeah.
Speaks for itself. We've spoken a lot about him.
Yeah.
Most improved side.
I've got you guys. I've got Chelsea.
Same. Yeah. I mean, we finished, 12th, 13th last season, and we've both got them in Europe now, so biggest change of any of the sides in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Next up, though, most improved player. Maybe you could
you lead. With
maybe breakout star, you could call it.
Let's call it breakout star because that's sort of where I've sort of veered down towards.
Yeah.
We could say
sort of similar thing.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I think some players like you could have said Jacko was one of the most improved last season.
Okay.
Compared to the seasons before. I don't know.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Emerging talent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've sort of gone a bit in between. I don't know about breakout star, but definitely fits the most improved player. topic, and that is Ukraine's one and only Mudryk.
Hey,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
I
think it's time.
I think look, man, there's not, you can't go much further down than where he was at, if I'm honest. Hey,
It was
no. I'm not trying to be a dickhead about it. I'm being serious. Like
Yeah.
it was pretty dismal, bro.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty
It
bad.
was sort of just the debut against Liverpool was like, oh, you see signs there, and then for the rest of the season, it was just like either he didn't try at all, or he'd just show a little bit of promise, but not really.
It was shaky, yeah.
But I think now with these new players around him, you got Jackson to play the 1-2s with him. You got Nkunku to link up with. I think new manager and everything. It looks like he's gonna get more of more chances to play. He's gonna play more, obviously. With Mount's gone, Pulisic's gone, Havertz is gone, Ziyech is out on the way out. I think he'll get more chances to play more regularly, and with the whole new manager, new players, I think it'll all start to click.
Yep.
What do you reckon?
Look, with your call, I completely agree. We have a lot more time to develop and find his place in that squad.
Yep.
There was you guys had a big old problem with the amount of sort of players in his position.
Yeah.
And who to go with. And you guys were questioning yourselves all season. You had Felix in there still. You brought him out from Atletico, and that was I'm not saying it was a confusing one. You definitely needed someone stronger on that part of the pitch, but then with Mudryk coming in as well, it's just like where the hell is he going to fit? I think you're right with Mudryk. With me, I've
Who
said,
have you got?
this is a bit of an outside rogue one. He's come from Fulham, and I've mentioned him previously in the other episodes. And I've said Solomon for Tottenham.
Oh, okay.
And more of a breakout, sort of season I'm expecting from him. He had like I've mentioned, purple patch last season in 5 games. He contributed to like 5 goals. Whether he scored or assisted, or he scored, I think, in most of the games in that period. But then he went down injured again. So Ange Postecoglou has signed him from Fulham because he's recognised the fact that he will fit very well with Tottenham and the way they play, right up against the touchline. Solomon loves taking on players, and he was, in terms of successful take-ons, I think it was up there with like the 5 top wingers that have played a minimum of like, I don't know, I think it was like 200 minutes or something. So it obviously excluded. He was obviously probably on the borderline of that. Like I said, he didn't play much last season, but when he did, he was electric at Fulham. His finishing ability is great. He can score from outside the box too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's going to be outstanding. I think he's going to prove like he's going to be taking potentially. He's going to be shifting the squad around anyway, and he's going to be on that left side potentially. But with Son in there, it's going to be hard for him. But in saying that, who knows how Ange is going to play him, as if he plays him as like a super sub. At the end of the day, super subs can still have a big impact on how a team goes and performs. Like, I'm going to pull back to United example with like Chicharito, with Hernandez. At the end of the day, he wasn't starting. When he did start, he actually wasn't the greatest player. He's just more of an impact player. And I think Solomon is going to have a similar sort of role because their wingers, Tottenham's wingers or Ange's wingers are definitely going to be scoring as well. So, I think he's going to create great balance in that squad and allow for, if Son does drop off, or Richarlison, or if Richarlison plays.
Yeah.
If he plays.
It's the only like devil's advocate I could play is how much of a chance is he going to get?
Yeah, absolutely.
You got Son if Kane stays.
Absolutely,
then,
that's the thing. I think it's heavily relying on whether Kane stays as well. Yeah, for sure. If Kane stays, may not see as much as what we want to see out of Solomon, but I think he's a tidy player, and I think there's a reason why Ange went for him straight away.
Yep, true. I think that I like that shout. My only doubt is how much of a chance he's going to get. I think if he does get a chance, whether if it's because Richarlison's not performing, or if Kane leaves, or whatever be the reason, if he gets his chance, I think he should do well with that chance.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if Kane leaves, it opens up avenues for who knows Son to play through the middle. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah, true.
So yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, next up we've got biggest underperforming side. This was tough for me. Because I look at my table and I don't really see anyone any team. There's not many teams for me that have dropped that much, except for the team that I've put, which is Wolves.
Okay. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. Sorry,
But is it? But I question: is it underperforming if we kind of expecting them to drop?
Oh yeah,
I don't
but
know,
are we comparing to last season?
Yeah, all right, yeah. If we're comparing it to what I did was compare it to last season,
Yeah.
and it's a big fall off.
Yeah.
Which is underperforming to. Oh, is it underperforming to?
We're talking about the league, yeah.
My expectations
Yes.
It's not underperforming my expectations because I expect them to do poorly.
Yeah.
It's
No, I get you. I
bit
get
of a
you.
grey area, this one, but I'm going with Wolves just because I've got them with the biggest drop out of all of the teams in the league.
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
I went for more about again. I went in comparison to last season.
Mm-hmm.
And where this team finished, who I've chosen. They're not going to be in the 4, and I've mentioned that they're going to finish 6. I think Newcastle.
Oh, okay.
I think Newcastle in relation to just the Premier League. I think if we just look at the Premier League and what the results are going to be towards the end of the season, and I've got them 6th. If I'm going from 4th to 6th, it's completely that would be very underwhelming for them. If they get knocked out of group stages as well in Champions League, which I don't know, who knows what's going to happen there. And finish below. Look, it might be blessing in disguise doing that, and they make a late charge. But if they finish outside of that 4, I think that's anything but what Newcastle wanted, and that's probably for me. Like you said, there's all these other teams you just expect to be where they are, but Newcastle, like we've said, yeah, sure, the balance of whether or not they can figure out where. Who to play at the right time and what team they should play at the right time, it's just going to be dependent on that. So I don't believe that. I think that they will be able to manage it quite well. Like I've mentioned, they've got a bit of depth, but not enough to compete in the Premier League to the standard in which they want to this season.
Yeah. Oh, that's fair. I think I don't see them. It's a tough one because it depends. Yeah, like you said, it all depends how they go in Europe in the Champions League. If they drop out in the group stages, then they could very well turn their Premier League season around.
Yeah.
This is assuming they start off poorly at all. They could just turn it all on. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You never know.
Absolutely.
But the same could be said about Arsenal, United. Like they already know how to deal with European football. But I think last year it was Europa League for both of you. If I got that correct, I think.
Between who?
No, United and Arsenal last season was Europa League.
Yeah. We'll deem to be both in the final, but didn't happen anyway.
Yeah, but no, I don't mind that shout. That's you got them dropping what 2 places?
2 places.
2 places. Yeah. Well, I had it like a couple teams dropping a couple places like. Newcastle dropped for me. They dropped like 4 places. Brighton dropped. Aston Villa dropped. Who else dropped? Forest dropped. Bournemouth dropped. I'm not sure, but the biggest one for me was Wolves. Obviously. I don't think you had that many big drops in your.
I wasn't too risky. I was trying to be realistic. Like I know from season to season there will be big changes. Like inevitably there will be, and these won't be fully 100% correct. Obviously,
no.
And I have my suspicions about some of them, but I've just done it for the sake of it.
Yeah.
Because I feel strongly about one team being above another, so that one's automatically going to qualify to drop a place. You know what I mean? So yeah, I feel like You say Wolves. You say Wolves. I say Newcastle. Both complete other side of the table. But yeah, both teams looking to go against the narrative that's been set for them recently. With exclusion of last season. So
Yeah.
Newcastle looking to continue to build, and Wolves looking to sustain their place in the Premier League.
Yeah. Anyways, next up, we've got biggest overperforming side. So sort of a team that's going to exceed your expectations kind of thing. Exceed their own expectations. I'm going to let you go first.
Sure. I've picked this team because I feel like a lot of people opted that they were going to get relegated, and I don't believe this team will get relegated based off the fact that their manager that they have at the moment has literally scraped Burnley through for years and years with a skeleton squad with literally no money. And I'm talking about Everton and Sean Dyche's breakfast fucking football. Now, I think Everton. I've noted some of their weaknesses in which could prove ultimately them to be relegated. But I feel like they've got a lack of depth. They've got injury woes through in the defense, in particular with the centre back role, and the reliance on Dominic Calvert-Lewin as well. Without him, they struggle a lot, and he's pretty injury prone. And yeah, so I don't. As long as he stays fit, yeah, I think DCL. As long as he stays fit, as long as Daishi just manages his plays like he usually does. At the end of the day, Daishi picked up a team last season that were already in the shit, and he did his best to sort of, put through his philosophy to them, and get used to a different brand of football that they were used to playing. So yeah, I think this Everton team is not going to be the greatest team to watch. That's for certain. But I think a lot of people are gonna. I think Dyche is sort of like a cult. He's like a cult figure in the Premier League, and I think a lot of people respect him, and I think he's a great manager, and I think yeah, he's admired a lot. I feel he's like a young sort of Roy Hodgson sort of type, But the 4-4, he loves the 4-4-2.
Yeah.
So that's
4-4-2 with a crunching tackle.
And he's got hopefully Tarkovsky is still there.
Yeah, I think he's got a little injury, but I don't think it's anything too serious.
So
where have you got Everton on your table?
I put them in 14th. So instead of being 17th, 18th, 19th, or 20th, I've got them a few places above that. I had Forest, Burnley, and Sheffield in between them and relegation. So I still feel like Forest, compared to Everton, has still got a ways to go in terms of that team gelling together properly and playing fluidly. Just solely because of how they play. Everton, like I said, very generic sort of way to play football, pretty easy to sort of adapt to. But like I said, it's taken time. It took the back end of last season for them to realize, okay, this is like we can actually win football games even away from home. Like they struggled a lot. I think they only won like 2-3 games last season away from home. Everton. It was dismal. It was very bad. But I think one or two of them came towards the end of the back of the season. So so Everton versus Burnley in terms of like towards the being in between them and relegation. I think Burnley again just gonna do just enough to stay in, and then same as Sheffield. So that's why I think. But then I've got Palace, Brentford, West Ham above Everton. So I think I've done it. I think I've done it right there. It just depends whether or not Everton and their players stay fit.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Well, I do. It's a decent shout. I don't think they'll do as well as you. I think I've got them in 16th.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they'll still be flirting with relegation, but Dyche will keep them up. I just don't think they've made any like signings to warrant an improvement.
Yeah.
They've lost a few players. They haven't really signed very many, and I couldn't even tell you who they have signed other than I think Ashley Young.
Solid.
So I don't know. I don't think they've done enough in the transfer window to sort of elevate them at all. I think they're just going to be in the same position again.
Okay. No, I get ya.
Hmm.
I get ya.
But I could see if like you said, if DCL stays fit, could change things up.
Oh, for sure. I think as soon as he's back in the team, they play a lot better and they're a bit more comfortable as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I have got Vincent Kompany's team, Burnley,
huge.
because I've got them first season back in the Prem straight into 13th place.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like I said-
that didn't even.
Like I said earlier, it's dependent on how they can do without Ian Matson, who was one of their players of the season, but they do have the signing of Trafford,
Yeah.
Jamesy Trafford, and yeah, I just think Vincent Kompany's got them well drilled. I think what's his name, Brownhill in attacking midfield or on the wing wherever he plays around there, he's unreal as well. I think they'll shock the Premier League a little bit. I think the way they played in the championship last season was just well above the level of the championship. So I think they'll come straight in and start being competitive.